Good morning. So, I was going to talk about something this morning because it comes up all the time. And it's one of those things where it's hard to see from our own perspective because we get stuck in this loop. And it's one of those things until we really do the work on the inside that we have the trouble seeing it for it being us and how we approach things, and then we stay in this loop pattern. So in relationships, we always get stuck. See, I'm already having this throat thing. In this pattern of, tending to date the same people until we, address the issue of the underlying pattern and what we really need to figure out for ourselves. So, one of my biggest things was I had a codependency, abandonment issue. And mine stemmed all the way back to me being a kid. And this took me a long time to finally figure out. Otherwise, I kept dating the same kind of guys over and over and over again. Who were totally not emotionally available. And in all honesty, I wasn't emotionally available, but I never wanted to see it that way. And that's because I was still dealing with shit from my mom. And I always dated guys who cheated on me. I was, asking myself all the time why I wasn't good enough, no matter what I did, because I would go above and beyond, and I had been doing it since I was a kid for my mom too, and why was I never picked? Why, no matter what I did, was I never good enough? Well, it was because I had to figure that out for myself. And when I finally figured all that out and had the epiphany moment, I was like, holy shit. This stems back to me, trying to do everything and trying to prove to my mom that I was fucking good enough and trying to live up to her fucking standards, and her never being there when I needed her to be there. This has nothing to do with the dudes I'm dating, but I'm putting myself in scenarios with guys like my mom. So until you go back to the root of the issue and deal with where you're still trying to figure that out for yourself, you're going to keep living in the same loop until you face it for yourself. It's never the other person. You're trying to fix it for yourself. Yes, I'm not saying that those people, in those situations are right or accurate, but you're going to keep living in that same loop and doing it to yourself. You're seeking that same behavior. And until that light bulb goes off in your head and you're like, holy shit, I need to address these feelings and these emotions and how I'm actually going to stand up for myself and correct that behavior for myself and not let people do that to me, then you're going to keep doing it. Because I wasn't ready. And I was just going to keep trying to please and please and please and please and go, pick me, pick me, pick me. Why are you not picking me? Well, I'm fucking perfect. I'm going to go above and beyond. I always have. I've always excelled. I've always kept my humble self and exceeded more than most know, unless you're in my personal life, and what I've done and what I've battled and overcome. And just let people walk all over me. And it stemmed all the way back to that. But you have to face that on your own to realize that that's where that goes back to. And once you heal that, close that, cross that bridge, it's completely different. Because then when something comes up, you're like, oh, I'm going to go this way. And this is how I deal with this. And you have boundaries. And you know what you're looking for. You know what you want. And you know how to address it. But the work starts within. It's easier to blame everybody else and mirror ourselves and others than to face ourselves. So once you sit down and look yourself in the mirror, which is the hardest thing, and people don't want to do it. But once you do and you actually feel the feelings, which is another hard battle, then it's a whole nother level. You step up to a whole new place, and it's something you've never felt before. So much more peaceful, and you attract in something so completely different. And everything else is in the past. People just start falling out of your life because you just don't put up with it anymore, and they can feel that you just won't put up with it anymore. So take the time to sit down and look yourself in the mirror and actually stare yourself in the eyes and see what the root cause is and the root problem and address it. You'll feel so much better when you do. I love you. Happy Saturday.